hello. Welcome to Rolynn's Reviews. I am so glad to be with you today. I hope that everyone had a terrific Taco Tuesday. And I have to go back to work tomorrow. So I said, hey, I may as well jump on for a few minutes tonight. Do me one small favor, please. As you enter the chat room, hit the little thumb. That is the like button that tells YouTube that you are enjoying the content, and we may possibly trigger the YouTube algorithm and bring more people in. All right, I will do the roll call momentarily. Look at the title: Anti-ICE Thugs Mistake Construction Crew Trucks for Feds and Break 60 plus windows. So they thought that these were ICE vehicles. So again, there they go, thinking again. Every time they think, they go wrong. Oh my goodness. I'll go ahead and start. If you were aware of this, drop a comment in the comment section and let me know. All right. So I think it's laughable. Some more peaceful protesting, right? Oh my God. Jeremiah, New York is done. Yes. All right. And I've uploaded today, was it 2 or 3 shorts? So please be sure to check those out and hit the little thumb for those as well. How you doing, Marsha and Mello? Everything is good. I have to go back to work tomorrow. So I said, well, I'll just jump on for a short while and spend time with my favorite people. Okay, so Marsha and Mello, I think I got everyone. I have a few people here who did not say anything, but if you want me to call your name, hey, just say hello or send an emoji. So look at this. I said, OMG. And so again, everything is peaceful, right? And we know how they act when they see, how you doing, Nemo? We know how they act whenever they see ICE vehicles or ICE agents or people that they assume are ICE agents. They lose their minds. And Lord Tarakan, how are you? And so I said, let me jump on and see what you know about this. Was anywhere aware of this incident? And I won't be before you long, but I will try to be strong. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to share this with you, and then we'll talk about a couple of other incidences that happened that I'll share with you. So let's watch.
All these fucking windows.
So this happened at a construction site in Minneapolis. Okay. And you have to feel bad for the people whose trucks and vehicles were vandalized. And so this is what they're continuing to do.
Every single fucking window. Are you fucking kidding me?
So this is the guy there that's recording. He's actually walking through and he's showing you 60 windows. They just walked through, they just burst the windows out because they assumed, oh, my girls, you were not aware of this. Okay. Yeah, they assumed that these were ICE vehicles. So they, you know, and we all know what happens when you assume. Emily, how are you doing, love? And so this is what these people are doing, showing themselves for who they really are, the devil. And yeah, let me continue.
They broke into everybody. All these fucking windows. Every single fucking window. Are you fucking kidding me?
So yeah. So that's what they're doing. And then I have Tube Steak, how you doing? Baldwin Birds, how are you? And I have some more clips to share with you. Me being home, I've been, well, we've been working remotely, but I've had more time to scroll, even more time to scroll on social media. And so, miss you too, Lord Tarakan. We're glad that you're back. And I wanted to show you some others. And Unbelievable. The things that they're doing. I don't know. These people all need to be committed. Now, this incident happened in Oregon. So let's watch and see what this very good mom of the year is doing with her child. Is that not child abuse? She has her young daughter out there and she's been pepper sprayed and they're just using water to flush
or being witnessed
flush the spray out of her eyes. And so, all right, let me see what else I mean, there's a lot going on. And these teachers, I am so embarrassed what these teachers are doing. Even the mayor's mansion street. Yeah, Jeremiah, I saw that. It is disgusting. Yes, Marshmallow, someone needs to call Child Protective Services. This is what protesting feels like, huh? Right, Tuesday? Why would she take a small child there? Oh my God. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that these are the things that they're doing. And look at this, so proud of our youth. And they have them out there showing them how to protest against ICE. Teachers leading the march with the students. Rolynn, is that the inside of the Leering Center? Can't be, because at the Leering Center you don't see any children. Boom. Greg, what the heck? When people ask, I am brutally honest with them. And I was looking, some more people got fired. Yeah, this is New York. Yeah, let's look. Since Jeremiah, you brought it up before I could show it. This is what's going on in New York. OMG. I've been on Twitter and TikTok all day.
This poor bastard ain't getting out until the spring. Look at this. Dirt a week after the snowstorm. Look at this dirty shit. This.
Everyone, look, you see this? Whoa, that's what happens when you vote blue, no matter who. Hey, how are you? CJ, that's in Oregon. Now, I'm in North Carolina, so I'm sure me being in a red state, something would happen. But that's Oregon. Those people are nuts. I don't know what they're doing up there. Nemo, Man Dummies World. Yes. Lord Tareka, you learned nothing at the Leering Center. I told you, I was on TikTok and X all day, so I have several clips to share with you. And then in Cedar Rapids, this is in Iowa. So, I bring the receipts because I don't want you to think I sit here and make things up. But yeah, if you're just coming in, New York is a mess as usual. And the St. Paul's United Methodist Church in Cedar Rapids, Iowa is now facing mass calls to have its tax-exempt 501c status revoked after training hundreds of people on how to illegally impede federal immigration law enforcement. So they're teaching this training in the church. Whatever happened to separation of church and state? Yeah, their status needs to be revoked. So I'm telling you this, but I have the video to prove it. Look at this. This is crazy.
Get your cameras out! You gotta watch. You have to show us on the real sport. You have to show us on the real sport.
So what do you think about that? How you doing, jet lag? I hope Livy Boy jumps in. He said today's his birthday, and I promised him I would jump on. There he is. Jet lag. How are you? And Livy Boy, everyone, please wish Livy Boy a nice did you have a nice birthday? I don't know what you did, but I hope that it was nice. I hope you had a very nice Taco Tuesday birthday, and may God bless you with many, many more. So everyone, please wish Livy Boy. I promised you I would come live on Tuesday. You told me it was your birthday, so here I am. I try to keep my word unless it's something totally beyond my control. All right. Doing just wonderful. Hope you are the same. Yes, jet lag. Great. Yeah, I'm just showing. I was all over Twitter all day, and I could not believe, well, I could, but some of the things I found, it is crazy. And I wanted to share this with you because now, for those that don't know, I think Billie Eilish, or whatever her name is, when she went up to get, I think she got Song of the Year, album or something, I don't know. So she said, well, you can't be illegal on stolen land. So, and everyone, of course, stood up and applauded her. And so Donald Trump, you know, he was going to chime in. And then they were taking pot shots at Trump the entire evening. And you know he's coming back. The Grammy Awards are the worst, virtually unwatchable. Boom. CBS is lucky not to have this garbage litter their airwaves any longer. The host, Trevor Noah, whoever he may be, is almost as bad as Jimmy Kimmel at the Low Ratings Academy Award. Oh my God. I'm trying to read this, but it's hilarious. You know, Trump, he knows how to roast you. I would never say anything negative to him. He would have you in tears. And I know I'd be crying. I would just say nice things. There is no way I would want to receive his ire. All right. And so Noah said incorrectly about me. You know, Trump is saying he may sue him too. I hope he does, so they'll shut up. That Donald Trump and Bill Clinton spent time on Epstein Island. Wrong. I can't speak for Bill, but I have never been to Epstein Island, nor anywhere close. And until tonight's false and defamatory statement, have never been accused of being there, not even by the fake news media. Noah, a total loser, better get his facts straight and get them straight fast. It looks like I'll be sending my lawyers to sue this poor, pathetic, talentless dope of an MC and suing him for plenty of money. Ask little George Slopadopoulos and others how that all worked out. Also ask CBS, get ready, Noah. I'm going to have some fun with you, President DJT. I don't know. All of the people that they know, you say something bad against Trump, he's coming for you. He will sue you. Why? These people won't stop. So Trevor Noah allowed himself to be used. So good luck with that. And I'll play this for you. Oh my God. That Trump is the last person you need to say. So you better have your facts straight, because if not, he'll see you in court.
Wow. That is a Grammy that every artist wants, almost as much as Trump wants Greenland, which makes sense. I mean, because Epstein's Island is gone, he needs a new one to hang out with Bill Clinton. So, oh, I told you it's my last year. What are you going to do about it? Wow.
So, yeah, they were roasting Trump the entire night. Now, remember, when he was a Democrat, and before he ran for president, and they all loved him. What a joke. All right. And I wanted to show you. There's so much. Oh, my God. Mandummy. Shocking footage out of Zoran Mandami's New York City, captured by New York Scoop. is going viral, showing homeless people sitting over manholes for warmth as snow and garbage lines the streets, while 16 people have already died from the cold. So yeah. So this is what's going on.
You saw in the news earlier they said they found 3 bodies.
Yeah.
It's so sad. And let me tell you, it's not about He's young. Look like, right? Looks another 42. That's how he warmed it up. Police car right here next to him. Cars going back and forth. Look at this.
So voting has consequences. We've said it here 1,000 times. And, you know, and this guy, this is what, you know, like I said, let me show you. They're still on social media making threats. And we're showing you who this guy is. And he's telling people, hold on, let me show you. He's telling fellow Democrats to become familiar with their MAGA neighbors so they can take care of them when it's time. This is what he's on with all the bad, negative things that have happened. This is what he's on social media telling people to do.
I mean, you should know where every MAGA is in your neighborhood. I know every neighbor in my condo HOA complex. I know everyone, and I watch them closely. And when shit pops off, I'm not going to go out looking for someone. I have people right here around me to take care of. And so do you.
So this is what they're doing. Wow. And I did a short on this. If you have not seen it, how many times have we talked about the left, the Democrats, and their hatred and their racism? So this black ICE agent, oh, I love when this happens. So when people come on here and call me names, oh my God, you're this, you're that. Right, my girls. So I made a short, I uploaded a short a little bit earlier. Olivia Rodrigo. Okay. Oh, okay, Livy boy. Thanks for the info. So a black ICE agent was asking a leftist, because I mean, you know, sometimes you can't tell. So he wasn't trying to be facetious and he was not trying to be condescending. He just asked a question. And they went off on him and was calling him the N-word. These liberals, these Democrats who are still trying to get Black America out in the streets to protest with them. This is what they're doing. Make it make sense. Is anyone familiar with this? My girls, have you seen the short I uploaded with this? The Democrats are so angry. The liberals want Black Americans out in the streets protesting. Okay, Nemo. Well, I'm glad that you asked. So much for leftist tolerance. Greg, I know you've seen it. I think you watched my short. So this is what they did. This happened, of course, in the nice liberal city of Minneapolis. Thank you, my girls. So here's a black ICE agent doing his job, and he asked a question. Vacay, how are you doing, love? Hit the like button, please. Vacay, I hope you're doing all right. I have to go back to work tomorrow, so. We still have some remnants of the snowstorm, but we have to go back tomorrow. But let's listen to the nice, liberal, open-minded Democrats.
Like we should rip people apart from their families.
Are you a man?
Wow, is that a question?
Wow.
Okay. How do you feel about ripping people from their families? Does that feel good?
Fucking house nigga in here.
Sir, I need to move.
Fucking house nigga working for the fucking KKK.
What's wrong with you people?
Why are you calling a woman a man? I mean, what kind of a guy does that?
Fucking house nigga, bitch.
Neighbor.
Go look for your fucking slave.
How many times did they call this guy the N-word? Dorian said they are the white YNs. So they call him N-word B. How many times? The nice, tolerant left that wants Black America to go out and protest. He called her Sir Greg. Of the ICE agent. It's hard to tell these days. It is. Greg, we probably wouldn't know either. CJ, that just might piss off a lot of Democrat blacks for those white liberals call CJ, and obviously not enough, because remember CJ during the George Floyd riots? I'll take you back. Remember the old black retired, I think he was a sheriff or police chief or something. He was black, older guy. He went into the streets to tell them, they wound up killing him. He went into the streets. Was he killed? I need to look that up. Anyway, I think he was killed. He went into the streets telling them, please don't do this, stop these riots. They called him the N-word 100 times, I know. Levy Boy, they called him more than once. Anyone remember what I'm talking about? The older black man, he just went out and he was telling the people, I think it's mostly it was Antifa out there, and he was just saying, hey, don't do this, you're destroying the city. And they called him the N-word relentlessly. Okay. So anyway, yeah, this is, I love it. I love it when they drop into the live chat, when they leave me comments, how dare you, and you betrayed your race and all these other things. Where are they when we're talking about this? And these are the people, the Democrats, the tolerant left, that want us to go out. They want us to go out and protest with them. I guess as you're calling me the N-word. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, let me play that again, because I don't know if you heard how many times they call him the N-word, but it was many.
That kind of energy, like we should rip people apart from their families.
Are you a man?
Now that sounds like a man to me. You listen carefully.
That kind of energy, like we should rip people apart from their families.
Are you a man?
All right, type in the comment section. Does that sound like a man or a woman? That sounds like a man to me. To me. You let me know. How you doing, Dorian? I want to see what your that sounds like a man to me. So his voice, I guess, did not match his outward appearance. So I don't know if this guy had on a dress. I don't know. Martian Mello said, sounds like a man. Thank you. That's what it sounds like to me. So he, and some of these people we've seen out there, it could be a man, but he may have had a dress on. And some of them are out there with dresses on, but they have a beard and a mustache. So how are you supposed to know? That sounded like a man to me.
Wow, is that a question?
Wow.
Okay. How do you feel about ripping?
They got angry because in their eyes, even though it's a man, he considers himself a woman. So you address him as a man. with the pronoun of she and her. Oh God.
Does that feel good?
Fucking house nigga in there.
Sir, I need to move.
Fucking house nigga, where's your fucking KKK? What the fuck's wrong with you people?
Why are you calling a woman a man?
I
I mean, what kind of a guy does that?
We fucking house nigga, bitch.
All right. Right. And they get very offended when you get the pronouns wrong. And he wasn't disrespectful. Marshmallow, boom. Jet lag, but sometimes when they're covered up, you can't see, you can't tell. So anyway, that's what's going on. And then this crazy lady right here. Oh my God. Let me tell you what she did. A liberal mother, something's going, Oregon and the state of Minnesota and the state of Oregon. Oh my God. What has happened? So she's had thoughts of taking her kids to protect them from ICE. It comes down to me taking out myself and my kids versus us being taken and harmed by ICE. Death would be easier out. So look at this lady. And they're talking about they need to contact Child Protective Services on her. She definitely has some issues. So listen to what she's saying. Mayor said it's in the water. Good, Dorian. All right, listen to this. Me too. Nemo, exactly.
I really pray it doesn't get bad enough. But being a mom in America, I had to stop walking for this. I often think that if it gets to the point of knocking on doors, God, and like to even have these thoughts, it's like I'm literally separating from reality right now. If it comes down to me taking out myself and my kids versus us being taken and harmed by ICE, like, God help me, I did not want to do it. This is not the life I wanted. But that is a very dark thought that I've had. Death would be a easier out than for my children to be taken and harmed by these pedophiles.
Now, first of all, what's going on with her face? And Nemo said, hold on, sick. And she seems and looks reasonable. Woo! And she has kids. That's the scary part. MAGA, yes. These people are nuts. Oh my God. You see what I've been looking at all day, and I'm exposing you to it now. This is what I told you. I've been on Twitter all day. Oh my God. So Washington State. Oh my God, the teachers are doing this crap, and so I like to show this to you so you know I'm not just blowing smoke up your rear. And I'm like, it's so embarrassing for me to be an educator and with the things that some of these people are doing.
So my son just called and said that his school just brought him to a protest. So he's currently at a fucking protest. I'm fitting to go rage. Who the fuck said you could bring my child to a protest? Any of our kids to a protest. They see what's happening today. Bringing kids out there now. Purposely in schools. Washington State. Send this out. Washington State. Sending their kids to protest. I'll see you soon. Let me give you a little rundown on the way there. White Center, we call out here Rat City. If anybody from Washington State knows this Rat City is not an area you bring kids, let alone bring kids to a protest in this piece of shit city. If anybody knows White Center, you know Rat City is dangerous. Why are you bringing our kids into dangerous territory with fucking...
Yeah, they're taking, and you know, with protesting, when it gets out of hand, you know that they use pepper balls and other tactics to disperse the crowds. So you're leading people's children to these protests where they may be injured or, God forbid, unalived. Oh.
Protesting going on. Anyway, I'll see you soon. See you in the next video. It looks like they made it all back to the school already before I could get here. Yeah, so they all just got back before I can get here.
And you wonder why the test scores are so low. They're doing everything but teaching, but they're showing them, hey, leading them, taking them to a protest against ICE and immigration enforcement. That's really going to raise the test scores, folks. Oh my God.
All the kids. Fucking furry teachers on their bikes. Is this really what's going on? This is craziness.
See some of the teachers out there with these crazy headdresses on.
This is craziness.
Instead of teaching math and English and everything else that they need to know, they're out there leading them on to a protest.
We got the blue hairs, everything. Are you serious? Yellow hair? Oh my God, my kid is at a woke school. What is going on? This is Cascade Middle School, everybody. Cascade Middle School in Washington State. Did you consent to that?
I didn't want to.
You didn't want to do that?
No, after the cops came up, one of the guys was like the guy with the megaphone, like a kid, who's like, "Do not talk to the federal thing, Bob," whatever it is.
Just believe I will be at the next school board meeting.
And that's what you have to do, folks. Livy Boy said, yeah, the kids are not learning, they're leering. Oh my God. And so not today, Dorian, because I have to go to work tomorrow. I had the live stream set up for yesterday. I guess you all forgot. And I jumped in, but no one showed up. So I stayed for 15 minutes and then I left. But we will do another. Don't worry. So, yeah, folks, as an educator, all I can say, I think, wait, Martian Mello said, MAGA, yes. No, Martin, they weren't. Teachers could be sued and fired they should be sued and fired, in my opinion, for child endangerment, no authorization to take child out of school for a political event. Yeah, they just, so I hope President Trump, I'm sure someone's going to share that with him. Right, Greg? I checked yesterday for the live stream several times. I didn't do I just posted the, in the community tab, I posted the link for the Google Meet. And I just uploaded shorts. So now you see what I've been doing all day. Wow. And I had something else to share with you. So what are your thoughts on this, folks? Yeah, this is what they're doing. And I know what else I had to share with you. I told you I've been all over social media. Oh, here's one more I'll share with you before we go. Shocking video out of Portland, Oregon shows teachers at the Portland Montessori school leading children. So this is another school, some no older than 5 or 6, in an anti-ICE protest, sparking mass calls to remove any licenses the school may have. The teachers look exactly how to think. Okay, so these are, yeah. And these are the kids they have out here jumping up and down. I'll let you see. Listen to the students. They're jumping up and down with the signs. Woo! If that's not indoctrination. All right. So anyway, yeah. I wanted to share. Okay, let me see. All right. I'll leave that right there. Let me pull up what else I wanted to share with you. So yeah, I gave you my review on the title. Those of you who came in late, with the title, we covered that first, of course. Anti-ICE thugs, they thought they were destroying ICE vehicles. They were actually destroying vehicles of the construction workers who were working at that job site. Oh, what, 60 vehicles? So they're trying to push race relations back 60 years, I guess. But this is what they're doing, folks. And they're just leading these nice, peaceful protests. And I had something else to share with you. Let me show you. Oh my God. Oh my God. So tell me what your thought. English Garden, how are you? In too deep. Let me know if you're here. In too deep. That's one of my favorite Genesis songs. You know I love you, but I just can't take this. You know I love you, but I'm playing for keeps. Although I need you, I'm not gonna make this. You know I want to, but I'm in too deep. Oh my God. In too deep. Welcome. Let us know if you are new here. When you don't, yeah, I guess they didn't need, they just decided to do what they wanted to do. Well, schools are nothing but indoctrination camps anyway. So yes, English Garden. Yes. They thought that the vehicles belonged to ICE agents, but they belong to the actual construction workers who were working on that site. Are you new here? Everyone, welcome In Too Deep. I'll never forget that name because that's my favorite Genesis song. I play it in my classroom like every week, and I love it. I've actually had some students to come up and ask what the name of the song is and who the artist is. And anytime I have teenagers wanting to know about some good old school music, whoo, you know I tell them. So I wanted to share just a couple of other items with you before we go. And I hope you are enjoying this. There's so much going on. And I think let me show you what's going on in Philadelphia. We talked about New York. Well, Philadelphia is just as bad. One love. Yes. One love. Everyone, welcome In Too Deep to the chat, to the Rolynn Reviews family. In Too Deep. Okay, I gotta go play my my Phil Collins and Genesis because that's my favorite song. I play it every week. I play that song. Yes. Okay, so let me show you what's going on in Philadelphia. Now you're new here In Too Deep, but let me tell you this. We do not believe in voting for someone based on the color of their skin. We do not believe in voting for someone based on their gender. Here on our channel, and it's all of our channel, it's about 32 people in the chat as well as myself. This is our channel. We believe in voting for the best possible person. It doesn't matter what their color is, because that's why we are in the situation that we are in. And I'm going to share that with you right now. Here we go. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with this, but if not, you're going to learn today. Out walking your dog. Okay. Nemo. Yes. And we're not a big channel, but we still try to reach as many people as we can. And we're trying to prepare for the midterms. Anyone familiar with this right here? Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker. Anyone know what's going on? I mentioned a little bit of it earlier. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. No. Here we go. Oh dear. Yeah. So let me do this. So you know how the Democrats do. Okay, here's this black person. Vote for this. But we're putting a black person. No DE jet lag. Say it for the people in the back. No affirmative action. No DEI here. No. So this is what's going on in Philadelphia. The mayor, Sherelle Parker. Of course, you know, I think she was she the first woman or something? You know how the Democrats, they put a black face here and say, here, black people, vote for this person. They're the first black person. They're the first black female, yada, yada, yada. Make history, right? We don't believe in that here. Who is the best possible person for the job? If you're not the best person, we tell you here on this station, on this channel, kick rocks. My girl said it right. I think I'll pin that. My girl says that victimhood and oppression are curse words here. Dorian said nobody cares. You're right, Dorian. So let me share this story. And then Pink Book, you know, Pink Book Lessons broke it down. Oh my God, I love Pink Book Lessons. I've reached out to her. I've sent her an email, but oh my God, I would love to talk with her. I love her thought process. So they're like over what, 1,200 complaints against this lady. But again, they voted for her because of what? Someone type it in the comment section. Why did they vote? Let me click on some images so you can get an idea. Here she is right here. Someone tell me why you think they voted for this young lady here. I forgot. Someone tell me, why do you think they voted for this young lady, Miss Sherelle Parker, and for mayor? Someone tell me. Oh, because she's black and she is a female. Boom. All of you are correct. We know that is a recipe for disaster. And here's some key areas where they've been complaining. Snow removal efficiency. So following a January 2026 snowstorm, complaints surged with residents reporting that streets in many neighborhoods remained unplowed or unsalted for over a week. Critics highlighted that the neighborhoods of Cedarbrook and Mount Airy, where the mayor lives, okay, everyone see that? Received better service compared to others. See what happens when you vote for color? See what happens when you vote for gender. Stop it. Silence amid the crisis. Frustration grew as residents reported that the administration, let me highlight this, stopped communicating about the status of snow removal. So basically, they didn't want to be bothered with these people. You voted, you put her in office. Hey, you get what you pay for. I'm just saying, you do. Yes, Nemo. Okay. So, despite hundreds of ongoing complaints, according to reports, now how are you as the mayor of a city going to cut off communication and not communicate with the people, your constituents? Okay. Here we go. And then there's some other things that happened. This is just this latest situation with the snowplow situation in her office, and she and them not communicating with people in the community. It snowballed. Pun intended. Literally. So, forced return to office mandate 2024. In 2024, unions representing city workers filed lawsuits and complaints with the Pennsylvania Labor Relations Board against Mayor Parker's order requiring all city employees to return to the office full-time. Workers argued this violated contracts and caused child care and elder care issues. Then you know there was the trash strike. If you don't remember, I'm glad you asked. In July 2025, a major strike by District Council 33, representing 9,000 plus municipal workers, led to massive piles of trash accumulating across the city. The union walked away from the table after rejecting a proposal that they deemed insufficient. So it's something all the time with this lady. I'm just saying. Here we go again. Controversy over self-granted raise. Okay, everyone, let me highlight this to make sure you see this. And this was July 2025. The administration had to push back against claims circulating on social media that Parker gave herself a 9% pay increase. People are starting to complain in New York City for the snow removal and debt of 1,600. Yeah, Zelly, we talked about that before you got here, love. Yeah. Voting has consequences, people. They need to learn. Here we go. So this was already a questionable hiring. Criticism has been raised regarding hiring decisions, including the appointment of former elected officials who are convicted criminals. Where did we talk about this before? How many of you have been on the channel for a while? Slavery exhibit removal, January 2026. They blamed it on white supremacy, Dorian. MAGA, their hands are so dirty. This is why they don't want Trump back. Right, MAGA? They know. Libby boy, yes. Parker was forced to sue the federal government to restore slavery exhibits to the president's house site after they were removed, leading to criticisms of how the site was managed and protected. So it's one thing after another with this lady. Tax lien, February 2025. A tax lien was filed against Mayor Parker regarding unpaid property taxes. So you see with her, it's just something all the time. Despite these complaints, in mid-2025, a Pew Charitable Trust poll found that 59, now this is the issue, 59% of Philadelphians believed the city was headed in the right direction, and she held a 63% approval rating at that time, indicating a stark contrast between vocal opposition and general public sentiment. So they don't like her, but they support her because she's black. Someone tell me I'm wrong. That's the problem. Yes, Dorian, again. And my girl, Pink Book Lessons. Oh, my God. And you know she calls a spade a spade. She calls things as she sees them. She doesn't care. I love it. She's real, clear, and cut to the point. She's straight to the point. Oh, my God. So this lady, it's one thing after another with this lady. But when it's time to ask, you know, is she doing a good job, da-da-da-da-da, they don't want to vote, say something bad about her because she's black. Oh, my God. Okay, Tijuana. Libby boy, yes. Oh, my God. I love Pink Book. She is the truth. She calls it as she sees it. Okay, here we go.
7 o'clock is in your neighborhood. Some of you know this is my first week here at NBC 10. I'm new to Philadelphia and learning about this great city and this region on the job, including how the city responds to major events like snow. Last week, of course, we saw the biggest snowstorm in a decade. And as our meteorologists have been telling you, we have also seen 6 days straight of below freezing temperatures and counting. And the so-called warm-up on the way still won't be enough to melt these mounds of snow. This isn't normal for this area, I'm told, and it means that we've had to rely heavily on city crews to get our roads cleared, not Mother Nature. And depending on who you ask, the city has been masterful at clearing the roads or terrible.
I've lived here over 25 years. This is the first time since I've moved here that I've seen the city do the corners, which is phenomenal. because just like every other part of the city, parking is not real good.
I think that I'm really impressed that the city has this capacity. 3 days later, I'm taking my daughter to school. I'm getting my groceries.
People are digging out, and then the plows go down, and the cars are, it's like a brick wall on the side of the cars.
Nowhere to really put the snow. We got to put the snow up on the curb, and people put the snow back in the street.
And the whole putting the snow on the side of the street and then residents taking the snow and putting it back in the street, that's obviously causing issues. But folks clearing out parking spaces and trying to save those spaces, then the neighbors taking those parking spaces is also causing fist fights. But hey, that's another story.
Okay, so obviously differing opinions there. So let's just talk sheer numbers when it comes to this response. According to the city, there are roughly 18,000 blocks in the city of Philadelphia. We checked with city leaders today, and they told us that the city peaked at 800 vehicles and pieces of equipment in use. That was between Sunday and Monday. Now, 400 vehicles and pieces of equipment are out on the roads. And the city also says well over 8,000 city staff and contractors have been part of this huge effort. Just listing all that gives you a sense of the scope of the job here, right? But initially, city officials had been encouraging people to follow along with their process, but that seemed to change today. Get this, the city site purported to have real-time data on the plowing of city roads, but as of this morning, that site has been taken down. Fortunately, we got a screen grab of that site last night. You can see here the shades of blue indicate whether the streets have been plowed and what time. Gray meaning that the streets had not been treated yet by the city. But this map is no longer. This has been taken down with the message now saying that this is no longer a snow event. You see it there. Well, that's not what we've heard from you. So with this map no longer online, our NBC 10 investigators looked at public 311 data to see where the complaints are coming from the most.
So Mayor Parker was being super transparent at first and communicating, but at some point they said, hey, we no longer have a problem. But you have a bunch of residents, hundreds of them complaining to the city. They said the event isn't over and they still have a bunch of snow on the streets because it's not melting. They're still experiencing freezing temperatures.
Take a look here. We want to show you the red on this map here. You all know Philadelphia. This is where the complaints are coming from now. Nearly 270 reports alone were made from people living in the 19148 zip code. That's that East Passyunk area in South Philly. Other top location plowing requests came from Point Breeze, Queen Village, and Port Richmond. So we wanted to see it for ourselves. We sent photojournalist Jason Ryan to East Passyunk. And look, you see the cars there, still buried beneath the snow. Some roads were not covered or are covered and frozen over at this point. The people who live there telling us that they have to be careful even walking around, and they told us that they can't wait any longer at this point for help from the city.
Having a better process of getting rid of this snow would be nice. Seeing it here, it gets dirty and clogged up real quick.
It was day 5 and they finally took a plow down here. So it's completely iced rocks, like hard. You could throw it like a baseball. It was like COVID. I was stuck in my house again, like COVID.
I started calling 311 on Monday, and I called Tuesday, and I called yesterday. And they just said look at the map. It'll tell us where we are. Everybody around us was being plowed. We never got plowed.
As you can see, there are hundreds of complaints being sent to the city, and the mayor isn't coming out to address it at all. Meanwhile, you have thousands of residents living on streets that haven't been touched in about a week. No plows, no salt, nothing. And no, this is not Houston or Dallas or a southern city. We're talking about Philly, a major city that's supposed to be preparing for snow every single year.
Okay, she made up 3 of the 270 calls to 311. It wouldn't be fair to look into all this without getting the city's response in perspective on this, of course. So we caught up with Carlton Williams from the City Streets Department out in North Philly, and we asked about progress, including why the website that was tracking their work is now down.
That system is usually done during a storm. It changes and refreshes every day. So once we complete those blocks, we don't return to that area, and therefore you don't get that data and information that the public is looking for. But the best form of data that we have is the use of the 311 mapping system. We get those complaints, we put them on the map, and we know and we route those areas so that those complaints can be addressed in the order in which they were received.
How do you prioritize which neighborhoods to go to?
A lot of folks reached out to us speculating about why their neighborhood hasn't gotten clean yet. And can you clear up what goes into those decisions?
Well, we equally serve all neighborhoods simultaneously. Some need different treatments, others that you can easily run a plow through during the day of the storm, and the process is complete. There's some communities like North Philadelphia and South Philadelphia when you have those tight streets where you have to use different processes that take much longer to treat. In fact, the lipping operation, you have to use skid steers, you have to use backhoes, you have to pull out the snow out of the street, put it into a dump truck, and go back and forth to its final destination. That is when you have that long time consuming process that I think neighbors are getting frustrated with.
Residents are still upset with the city's response and what they believe to be lack of preparation and communication. Like this one right here said, they haven't touched my street still. I'm not impressed. Another one said, same. I actually put in a 311 request for my block and they marked it complete, but never actually came. So LOL. Don't know how they're getting away with that. I was scrolling through the request and there's so many people saying they're resubmitting because their request was wrongfully marked complete. Here's another comment. On 311, people are requesting their blocks get plowed and the streets department is marking them complete without actually plowing anything. Here's another comment. City got caught with their pants down, no prep or foresight to see long-term forecast and make sure to clean it up first day before ice up. This woman here says vehicles were on the roads, but not working or doing the bare minimum. Also, the lack of variety in who was interviewed was weird. And then, of course, you have people complaining about the mayor. This one right here says, who voted for her anyway? Well, an overwhelming majority voted for the mayor. She won the election back in 2023 with nearly 75% of the vote, so that's who voted for her. Mayor Parker made history with that election. When she took office, she became the first woman ever to hold the position, so she's the first female mayor of Philadelphia. And not only that, she's the 100th mayor of Philly. Mayor Parker is a part of the Boule, a member of Delta Sigma Theta, but overall, she's not communicating and addressing these issues in the city at all. And of course, residents are frustrated. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Tell me what you think about this.
And how many times have we said that on this channel? We know why they voted for this woman. And we've said it 1,000 times. Voting has consequences, folks. And hey, you cannot, Dorian said, oh Lordy, good Lord. Yeah. Maga, I hate when what they say, first female. Yeah, I don't care. Don't come to me with first female, first black. I don't care. I don't. And I showed you, even though a lot of people are frustrated, a lot of people don't like the job she's doing. When they did that Pew Charitable Trust poll, they still don't want to say anything bad about her. She's part of the Black Boule. She's in Delta Sigma Theta. And you know, we have talked extensively about the Black Boule. They do what the Democratic Party tells them to do. They're just following that Democratic agenda. As you heard in the Pink Book video. How you doing, Wise Warriors? Good evening. How you doing, Wise? Good to see you again. And all I can say is people need to wake up. You know, you continue to do the same thing over and over. And it's not working for you. It's a failure. And I just don't know what else to say. Except try something new. Stop voting for Democrats because someone's black, because someone's a woman. Stop trying to make history. I'm great, Wise Warrior. I am great. I'm just flabbergasted that people will not wake up. And I'm disheartened a little bit too, because my question is just why? Why vote for someone and they're not doing their job, right? Greg says liberals never leer. And that's an issue. But people continue to vote. So I'm like, what the heck? Why? And let me see. New York had a black mayor, Eric Adams. Yeah, because the Democrats know how. Hey, what for 60 plus years? What have the Democrats done? Okay, yeah, they stick a black person there. Okay, we know how to get you to vote. So they just put a black person there and say, all right. And I need to show you one more clip before we go. We know how to get black people to vote for Democrats. Just keep on putting a black person and say, hey, you can make history. Like, get out of here. Let me see. I had one more. Make sure you're checking out my shorts, please, folks, because I am starting to upload more shorts. Oh, yeah, that's what I had to share with you. That another Democrat, a BLM judge has been charged for embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars. Anyone hear about that? And the sad thing, she did it from people who were incapacitated. Yeah, let me show that to you. No, MAGA said yes. I know MAGA knows because it's Detroit, so. All right, here it is. So I'll show you this and then we'll go. And she's a judge and a BLM activist. She supports BLM, so shocking, right? Oh yeah, I'll share this and then we'll go and I'll go get ready for work tomorrow. Got to go back in tomorrow. All right. Hit the like button for me, please. I promise it will not cost you anything. All right. Here we go.
Finds herself on the wrong side of the bench tonight. The feds have charged 4 people in a corruption scheme, including the judge, her father, and a guardian. They're accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from people at risk and unable to care for themselves.
One of my least favorite phrases in American political discourse relates to criminal justice reform, and it is the phrase called a nonviolent crime. And the reason I actively despise this particular phrase is because a lot of people have decided that we need criminal justice reform. We need to go easy on these nonviolent criminals. And for whatever reason, people seem to interpret the idea of something being nonviolent, aka not anybody getting punched in the face in that particular case, as a victimless crime. But the fact of the matter is many nonviolent crimes have victims. They can be absolutely devastated by that victimization. And in reality, people should not in any way, shape, or form conflate nonviolent with victimless. And a perfect example of this is this reformist left-wing judge that was appointed or actually elected to a probate judge position in Detroit, Michigan, that ended up using her position, according to the Department of Justice, of power over cases involving people being put put under conservatorships, which you might remember from the whole Britney Spears Free Britney fiasco, in order to basically set up a mechanism to steal from these people. So quite literally the most vulnerable people who have had their rights limited or restricted because allegedly they can't take care of themselves are being robbed at the behest of this judge and people that she used to represent at her father's firm, which is where she worked just prior to becoming a judge. It is absolutely heinous and disgusting when you look into this. And again, I will point out this woman ran as a criminal justice reformer, and although nobody was punched in the face throughout the entirety of any of the cases that we're talking about, we should see severe consequences for these corrupt and horrific actions. But we're going to get into this in just a little bit. However, before we do, I want to thank everybody who
Nemo. Oh my God. So you're familiar with this? Always the dingbat black women out in front. Call my girl, yeah.
System makes it far too easy for people with power to take money from the vulnerable. And that's exactly what the feds are alleging this judge and her co-defendants did.
Andrea Bradley Baskin, P70474, here on behalf of Miss Nancy Williams.
A lawyer turned judge who once defended a local guardian in court is now her co-defendant in a federal corruption case.
So the judge at the center of this is Judge Andrea Bradley Baskin, and she works at a law firm, or used to work at a law firm, with her father, Avery Bradley. And as you can see and just heard right there, she actually represented one of her co-defendants on the other side when she wasn't a judge.
She looks forward to her name being cleared in these charges.
Before Andrea Bradley Baskin became a 36th district court judge, Bradley Baskin and her father, attorney Avery Bradley, often represented guardian Nancy Williams. Williams' guardianship agency, Guardian and Associates, was appointed to be the fiduciary for more than 1,000 cases in the Wayne County Probate Court. When a probate judge declares you legally incapacitated, a guardian can have total control over your medical and financial decisions, often with very little oversight.
And that was a woman called Nancy Williams, age 59. Now, Nancy Williams runs an organization that essentially manages people that are put under conservatorships. Now, they have over 1,000 people under conservatorships at said organization. And the firm that used to represent them, or actually still does represent them, again, was being run by the father of the judge that now is assigning her cases in order for her to manage their finances. And of course, this obviously should be viewed as a conflict of interest. You should obviously recuse yourself in these kind of situations. But as we've seen before, these local judge positions, specifically these probate judge positions, which sometimes in some states don't even require an actual attorney in order to manage them, as they just involve trusts and estates and regular ordinary documentation issues, don't have very much oversight. And conservatorships, specifically in the state of Michigan, are notorious for bad oversight. So it should be surprising to no one that these co-conspirators are alleged to have stolen nearly $300,000 from the very people that they're supposed to be managing the finances of. And again, the obligation of a person who has taken guardianship over what is called a ward in the state of Michigan is a fiduciary responsibility. So you're not supposed to do things that enrich yourself at the expense of your actual client. Yet every step of the way, according to this DOJ indictment, it appears that is exactly what happened, and it was the plan to be what happened. But let us get a little bit of a slice of this woman when she was running for election, and she was talking herself up as somebody who was so compassionate, and even though she worked in corporate law, cared about social justice issues because it was ingrained in her so early to care about these issues.
I'll tell you. Okay, listen to this crap. I was making food. Okay, Patriots always lurking. We appreciate you, Patriot. Listen to this. Now, I told you she's a BLM supporter, so this should not shock you that she's a crook as well. All scammers.
I was one of those law students that were, into the public interest and wanted to, environmental law was a big passion of mine. And I was concerned about going to a large law firm, the ability to still kind of promote those issues and work in those
they
spaces.
look for their self-interest.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of corporate law there. But what I understood was that there was a lot of legal training that I could get there, and that I could continue those initiatives that I was passionate about on a pro bono basis. And so that's what I did. You know, I continued expungement fairs and things like that, and got myself into court.
When did you start getting into the court system?
I'll tell you, my first trial was in the federal court, and that was 2006, I want to say.
Oh, so you have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Maga Tamara behave. Maga said, I bet she's going to talk about the time she was walking down the street with Pam Greer, and all of a sudden, Pam's mother said, no, don't look, don't look. Look who's that, somebody's hanging in the tree. Oh my God. I can't, Maga, please behave. Oh my God.
Yes, I've been practicing 17 years. I started out in federal court.
Okay.
A religious freedoms case. And it was a big one. 2 weeks we went in front of Judge Edmonds at the time was our judge. And,
yes.
You know, we were fighting for prisoner civil rights.
Look, I understand.
So she was fighting for prisoners' civil rights. How you doing, Kill? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And the very first thing I told you about her, that's when I say that, you already know what we're dealing with here. She supported Black Lives Matter, so okay.
On the other side of the criminal justice reform issue that are good, kind-hearted people who genuinely want to do something that benefits society. But make no mistake about it, this is the perfect veneer, the perfect cover. You being a left-wing Black woman being elected to a position in a Black area in order to do social reform is the perfect cover for you to defraud your constituents, is the perfect cover for you to take advantage of vulnerable individuals. And we've seen this so many different times in different videos that I've covered on this channel. And again, it is hard not to notice that very often the cover of being a Black female to an elected position, to a position of power, is often utilized in order to get away with these kind of crimes.
And no one wants to call them, even when people know they're doing wrong, they don't want to say anything about it because, well, they're a Black female. And if you say something, God forbid a white person says something, oh my God, you're racist, 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 racist. You're misogynist, you're sexist. So even when people know that Black women are doing wrong, what he just said, they don't want to say anything. Nemo, I hear the same sound now. Boom. So yeah, those are facts.
However, this was so sloppy, so borderline out in the open that, of course, the Department of Justice was able to discover this almost immediately. That interview was from back in October of 2024. This judge has not been in office for all that long, and yet we already have a federal indictment, not just for her, but of course for the caregiver, for her father, and I believe for another partner in her father's firm.
So how long has this been going on? So again, we said Democrats did not want Trump. Look at everything that's being uncovered. Now, if the Curry Queen had won, it would still be business as usual. We wouldn't know anything about the scammy Somalis in Minnesota, as well as other states. We wouldn't know about any of these things.
In this indictment unsealed Friday, Judge Bradley Baskin, Avery Bradley, Williams, and Dwight Rashad were all charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud in what the feds call a years-long scheme to embezzle money from Williams' incapacitated ward.
So this is sad. They were taking from people who were incapacitated. So people who may not have had control of their mental faculties or physical faculties. This has been going on, looks like for years, Patriot. They're just getting caught now, and she hasn't been a judge for very long. Wow.
Bradley, the judge, and Rashad are also charged with money laundering.
Money laundering. Does that sound familiar, boys and girls? Boom. That's why they were trying their best to get the Curry Queen elected. Now everything's being exposed. I love it. Patriot, how long has this been going on? How long and how long has this been going on? Very good.
Williams is definitely a responsible citizen.
Williams was previously convicted of election fraud for forging signatures on her ward.
No, the lawyer is the lady beside her. This lady beside her is also involved in the scheme. This lady right here with the two masks on the company. So they were working in unison. Okay, does that make sense?
Absentee ballots. The feds say Williams and Bradley Baskin allegedly took $203,000 for themselves from one ward's legal settlement.
Whoa. Local news affiliate, let's be perfectly honest about what you just said right there. You just accused this Nancy Williams person, who again is standing right next to somebody who would be an elected official, of forging signatures on absentee ballots of people that she happens to be a warden over, has responsibility for, in order to commit something called election fraud in Wayne County, when in reality, in actuality, we all know that there's no such thing as election fraud. So even though those people are quite literally incapacitated and she's able to make multiple decisions for them, we cannot actually take the fact that she was convicted to mean absolutely anything. And we also can't find it weird that somebody who is running this scheme and allegedly stole $200,000 with somebody who's just elected to office in a low turnout election possibly could be correlated. So I'm just going to say, for everybody in the local news media, how dare you bring up election fraud? There is no election fraud, and definitely not in Wayne County, which is in where Detroit is, which is where this alleged conviction, proven beyond a reasonable doubt, actually ended up happening. Nancy Williams, great woman, perfect lady. And just because she was running schemes where she was charging people rent as, again, somebody who was actually taking custody over them for group homes that she ran when they weren't actually staying there, doesn't mean.
That sounds kind of similar to she. Hey, let's check her lineage and see, does she have any Somali blood? Oh my God. The scamming.
That she's a bad person.
Rashad ran group homes and FBI.
All right. Last name of Rashad. That's a little sus to me. That's suspect. We need to check that lineage. Yes, CJ, flush. Thank you for your service, Kill and CJ. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, here we go.
Agents say Williams allegedly paid him rent for wards who never lived in the homes.
Did you hear that? Yeah, we need to do some I'm restarting the birther movement. We need to see some birth certificates. I need to see where this lady was born. Hold on, my mom and dad just. Maga, come back and let us know how they're doing, dear. Please. Hope everything is well. All is well.
According to the indictment, Judge Bradley Baskin is accused of using $70,000 of one ward's funds to purchase an ownership stake in a bar, and she's accused of using another ward's money to pay for a lease on a Ford Expedition.
So yeah, as you just heard right there, apparently $70,000 did go to an ownership stake or partial ownership stake in a bar. So the judge is running her own little small business right there. And in addition to that, she ended up paying about $20,000 or $25,000 up front for a 2-year lease of a vehicle, which again is kind of odd. If you're going to put $25,000 down on a car, just buy the car. Like, I hate to go Dave Ramsey on all you guys out there in the audience, but what is the point of having $25K for a vehicle and then spending that on said lease for a vehicle? Again, doesn't seem very responsible.
Yeah, if you're doing that, I'm with him. I need to give you, I think I borrowed co-workers Dave Ramsey DVDs, some of their DVDs, And if you're doing that, I need for you to watch that. Yeah, Margaret, come back, dear, and let us know how they are doing.
And considering these people are in part responsible for managing the finances of people who supposedly can't care for themselves, this is absolutely disgusting and reprehensible. But again, this is what is allowed to go on when you have the cover of wokeness, when you have the cover of Black female judge being a change agent and all that sort of thing. And in addition to that, when you have false allegations, as the super mayor would call them,
judging off of hearsay. False allegations.
Do you guys remember that? Yes, CJ. And I found out something else about her. Nate the lawyer did a video, but it's private. It's only for people, I think, that are subscribed. I mean, that have joined his channel. I'm subscribed, but I haven't joined. But he did a video on the super mayor. So supposedly someone is talking to the FBI now in reference to her. So I don't know. Yeah, it's her, Harriet Tubman. Woo, that girl could make some words up. Let me go back so you can hear this again.
All them
judging off of hearsay, false allegations.
It's supposed to be false allegations. She calls it allegations. So that's not in Webster's dictionary.
And not facts.
Of election fraud via forging mail-in ballots, because in reality and actuality, even though she was convicted beyond a reasonable doubt for doing that specific thing because the evidence was overwhelming, we all know, based on what the mainstream media tells us, that there's no such thing as election fraud. And it just so happens that those individuals who did that fraud really just wanted to vote for her own personal attorney to be a judge to oversee their already corrupt arrangements that they didn't even have the judge to set up, even most of them.
CJ, you remember I did a video on that. Yeah. All right, Dorrance doesn't like my daddy. Yeah, she still looks like Lil Wayne. Yeah, CJ, I don't know if you were here for that one. I did a video on that. So they're okay, semi-random off of the road into a guardrail, but I guess it's drivable because they're fighting about how fast he was driving. MAGA, so great. They don't have to go to the hospital. Thank God.
The fact that a judge and an attorney have now been indicted, it shows just how brazen folks feel like they can be. And I also think it shows they're very aware of the holes in the system because there aren't that many checks when it comes to how a fiduciary operates.
Now, look, they end up interviewing an advocate right here, and this advocate is saying, hey, look, we need more oversight, we need more review. And I would just point out that while that probably is true based on the number of conservatorship cases in the state of Michigan, based on the decades worth of scandals in their conservatorship system, specifically in that state, I will also point out that basic reforms, like, you know, if you have a client that, by the way, is a convicted felon, even if it is for a crime that doesn't exist, election fraud, never heard of that in my entire life. In Wayne County, in Detroit, no way. It's never happened. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. But the idea that if you were a judge that represented that client multiple times and she still is represented by your father's law firm that you just finished working at by the time that you went and became a judge, yeah, maybe in that particular case, you get a recusal. Maybe in that particular case, another probate judge ends up overseeing what is going down right there. But that basic step wasn't taken right here. And the reason for that is because, you know, that's not actually going to help them forward the scheme. And I will also point out, it's usually a big red flag when somebody jumps from a corporate private sector firm and they're making all this money to a lowly probate judge. I mean, obviously, you would think that you could do much better on the other side of the ledger, not being in the judge position. But of course, if your father is constantly bringing up cases to that particular court, if you have clients and all these different people that are going to go to you, then yeah, you can make a pretty penny with these side hustles. And of course, the side hustle that I'm talking about is stealing from the most vulnerable people in the state of Michigan.
Is that not, that is low down, dirty shame. OMG. But hey, that's what some people do, and they feel it's okay. Yeah, how many people? 16 people have died in New York. Yeah. No, 10 people. 10 total. 16 frozen bodies. Okay, in New York. Wow. So that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you. And please check out my shorts. I have been uploading more shorts. Marsha Miller, have a good night, everyone. Yeah, you got to run. Okay, much love to you, Marsha Miller. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, all of you, I'm going to get off. I have to go to work tomorrow, but I enjoyed all of you. Oh my God. How long has this been going on? Oh my God. Hey, you got me, so I'll be singing that song all night. Okay, Jeremiah. Oh, Jeremiah says she's down with OPP. Yeah, you know me. Yeah, all of you. Yeah, have a good night. Be safe. I'm going to go. I got to go take a shower and go to bed. Got to get up and go to work in the morning. I enjoyed all of you. Again, please check out my shorts. And when you watch the shorts, hit the likes on there too. I'm coming to talk to all of you right now in the chat section. And be safe. I love you. And here I come.